everybody! We have returned! I say like we're coming back from a break, and technically it was a week-long break. Today is July 31st, 2022, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/IndoorAdventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/IndoorAdventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. Yeah.
We have no closed captioning.
We have no closed captioning. That's not... Oh, why is it only on not the me that is the closed of the captions? Hold up. Hold on. Hey ho.
Well, we did get Lowry's closed captioning for some reason.
That should... There we go. I just forgot to unmute myself in the CC. It was still picking up, just not for my dumbass. So... What's more, Bill with feeling? Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's newest Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Today is July 31st, 2022, and you are loved. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to Indoor Adventure on YouTube, or go to anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. We do shows like this 3 times a week, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, here at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hey, do you like the show? We got a Patreon set up. You can go to patreon.com/IndoorAdventure so you can check out our after show called Let's Be in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from you guys. There, we caught up, so it's like the fast forward. You hit play on the button. My energy's a little wild today. I had too much coffee, but we are here. We're living it. We're having a great time. We always have a great time, especially in that after show, which you can, again, go to patreon.com/IndoorAdventures to check out. The link can be found in the description or chat of this video off to the side. But let's say you already support us on Patreon. You already support us for YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, well, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, buddy? I got your back, quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and we also have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201, where all of the proceeds of those face masks and, at this point, all of our merch is currently going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, or possibly go to Indoor Adventure, or support a good cause, or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. I apologize if you see me sweating profusely or my words escape me. I'm in the middle of a heat wave, and it sucks balls. But that's it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who are you playing tonight?
It's only a heat wave because you're here, baby. Hey, hi everybody. I'm RJ, and I'm playing Vice, the Tiefling Rogue Warlock. We both go by him.
Dad, stop flirting.
No.
Hey everybody,
No.
I'm Sarah. I'll be playing Lowry Moon, our Hexblood Spore Druid.
I go next, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's been a minute. Hello, everybody. I am Mediaflare, and I'll be playing Balhadur Morthak, parent of 15, grandparent of 30.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener. She, her, I'm going to be playing as Clout, the Tiefling, Bard, he, him.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, our group finally managed to leave hither, and then go to thither, and then leave thither, and finally made your way into Yon. And on the way into Yon, knowing that it was going to be a misty, lengthy journey, you decided that you were going to put a rope onto each of each other to then make sure that you did not get lost, nobody got stolen throughout the mist, and you were going to be led through to Yon by your wonderful, handsome glorious unicorn friend, who then, of course, got immediately kidnapped as soon as you lost direct eye contact with them, turning instead into what looked like a large pushcart that played out a little scenario with puppets of the four of you all marching behind what looked like the unicorn friend, whose name was Eladon. I do believe there were two different, yeah, there was Eladon and Lamorna, and you were following after Eladon. Showing Eladon just getting snatched up, replaced with this cart. You all saw it and thought, ah, rats, it's all rainy, and our unicorn's gone after we just got the ability to actually, like, capture, or not capture, but the ability to follow and partake in this adventure with them. I even assigned you one of their stat blocks to lure you all into a false sense of security, only to rip that unicorn away with this instead cart that looks like it just fell across. Rain was coming down, lightning streaks through the sky, and as you were all finding a nice spot to kind of get out of the coming rains, that is when you ended up meeting a shadowless elf by the name of Gleam, as well as Amador the Dandelion and their betrothed Pollinella the Honeybee. It was at that point, after hearing Amador speak and after hearing Gleam, or listening to Gleam, that you all encountered a Cyclops beekeeper who was looking for the missing queen bee, if only to continue making a delicious mead, to involve himself in this fantasy sense of capitalism. It was at that point that you beat the piss out of that Cyclops, but you didn't kill him. Instead, you brought him back up at 1 HP and taught this Cyclops what it means to love. And at that point, the Cyclops, being very thankful that you would inform them what love was, has offered to instead take you to his humble abode to get out of this rain and offer you a place to sleep for the coming evening, as well as in his hopes that if Pollinella comes back, she won't necessarily stay there. He doesn't believe in stopping true love now that he knows what it is, but instead to kind of have Pollinella inform the next bee in line, these are your queenly duties, so that way there's no, like, hiccup as far as, you know, what he is able to do. And where we last left off was the Cyclops leading you to this distinct area. And as you arrive, you can see that it is sort of this, like a half-broken tower. There's a tarp that's been put over it that has the water sort of sloughing off onto the side that then goes into a little rut and just shoots down into what looks like a precarious dip, this sort of canyon that extends through the entirety of Yon. At this point, the doorway is more just like, it looks like he Kool-Aid manned himself into the tower. Like, there's no door. There's just a large opening where a large creature, such as a Cyclops, would, or I guess he's not large, he's considered huge, was able to actually enter into it. So he sort of, like, ushers you in. And when you all arrive, you can see that there are, like, base furnishings. And when we say furnishings, there's not, like, a set bed, as much as there are, like, a bunch of skins and furs that have sort of been, like, tucked into a corner. And then in his little backyard area, you can see that there are more tarps and more things that have been kind of set up to keep rain from landing on these beehives, so the bees can sort of be more active without having to worry about the water getting onto their wings and causing them to get all, you know, weighted because of it. So he is doing a decent bit to keep his bees outside of the rain, but again, it does definitely seem like there is a lot of rain, there's a lot of thunder and lightning that strikes every hour on the hour, but the Cyclops is at least amenable to your overall stay. And Amador sort of is like giving you the rundown of, like, as you can see, the defenses were entirely lacking. Or I guess he had more of like a Jack Sparrow thing going on. Just as you can see, the defenses that they had here were entirely lacking the last time that I went here. It's just wide open, not even a door, not even a worthy gate. But then again, no gate could ever be worthy enough to truly keep me from my love, Pollinella.
Quite, yes. You do realize that he is a beekeeper, correct? I don't think any defenses would have been needed. But you know what? Good on you for not letting anything stop you in your love.
Nothing can come in the way. The distance of true love.
You know what, buddy? I'll let you. Yeah.
And the Cyclops, whose
Mudlump.
name? Yes, Mudlump. Mudlump is going to go over to that pile of skins and furs and takes out 4 different skins, or 5 rather, and then gives each of you one of these skins and makes sure to give one to Gleam as well. And you see that, like, when he does give Gleam, he, like, kind of gives, like, a once-over, like, tentatively gives Gleam this, the fur. And you can see that Gleam is almost used to this trepidation by this point in time.
Well, thank you so much for this gift. May I ask what it's for, though?
We're sleeping.
It's much appreciated.
Oh, where are my manners? How many? 3. Who wants to talk with the Cyclops? Because I can only manage myself and 2 others. Or 2 others.
I don't
What
mind.
do we have to talk about?
Well, for one, we are in their domicile, so being able to communicate with them, maybe have a little bit of dinner and a chat about love, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Ah.
I don't think I'm gonna be much help there.
Love. Such a difficult thing to nail down.
Miss Moon?
I guess I can try my best.
Linking myself, Balhadur, Miss Moon, and the Cyclops with my psionic whispers.
Okay.
Hello? Is this thing on? I'm not entirely sure how this works.
I think it's on. Is on. Does that. When we can talk to each other, is that considered on?
Oh, it's on now.
Yep, it definitely is.
So, again, I just wanted to say thank you for not killing me. If I died, I don't know who would look after my bees.
And,
You're-
like, he is, like, speaking in giant while he's, like, communicating mentally. You don't think that he has the understanding of how this telepathy works? That all he would need to do is, like, silently think it? He's, like, actively expressing it.
You're very welcome.
May I offer you, food or drink? Hospitality is important.
That would be great.
I cannot turn it down.
Is there any hunting we can do for you to supplement what you have?
In the mountains.
There are
Things live in the
goats
mountains.
and wolves,
Wolves, that's
And-
neat.
sheep you could find if you wanted.
Do the sheep belong to anyone, or are they wild?
Ask first.
Sound
If they
advice, my
say
friend.
they belong to someone, they are smart sheep. Leave the smart ones alone.
Understood. If they
We
are
do.
smart, leave them alone. Ha
We shouldn't stray too far. I only have an effective range of 1 mile for this whole translation thing.
You could stay here.
True.
If you
True.
go and hunt, I can start prep. A good chef knows that you add foods when it is ready and not all at once.
I'll assist in chopping up some mise en place.
And he says,
If you find goats, there is a recipe I've been meaning to try.
Okay.
and
Right,
you
so
see that
prioritize the goat.
and you see that he reaches into his like this kind of like makeshift kitchen area. Like, it definitely looks like there is a spot for wood and other burnables. At this point you see that it's mostly like fur and other like kind of organic things that he's using to fuel fire. But he takes out what looks like a... Do you remember being a kid and you had like one magazine and you didn't have any other magazines? So you just read the absolute bejesus out of that one front to back. Like, it is like, that's the thing. It's that, and it looks like a Underdark cooking magazine. And you see that there is a Fomorian chef that looks like they're pulling like what looks like a large baked good out of an oven. And you can see that like Mudlump sort of like looks longingly at the Fomorian that's on the cover of his giant cooking magazine. And then, and like, just sort of like then goes over and he says,
Chef Dubfergale says that you should start prepping the vegetables first before you prep the meat.
and then he
That's
like
right.
continues flipping.
That's good advice.
And then
Well,
you can
then.
see that like he's pulling things out to start making like a... It looks like he has the equipment and the gear set up to make like a very nice stew.
All right. Who wants to go hunting?
Oh, I haven't gone on a hunt in a long time. I'd love to.
Clout, do you want to go hunting?
I probably should stay here. Think I could help with meal prep, dishes.
Okay.
Whisper. You go with Lowry and Balhadur here, and just let me know if anything happens to them. Bad.
Nods in the affirmative.
Here, take this as well, and Lowry will toss a molar to Clout.
Great.
Oh, here, have one of my scales.
No, you don't have to do it. It's a thing that I can do. I can send a message when we're within 10 miles of that.
Ah,
Clout,
interesting
I have
magic.
something for you too. Vice goes into his breast pocket, sticks his hand in there, comes back out, his middle finger's up.
Oh, thanks. He just grabs it and bends it backward.
Oh God, no!
You are giving gifts to people?
It's not a gift, it's a communication device.
And mine was just a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a dick.
But we'll bring you back a goat. How's that sound?
He nods.
Let off for the hunt.
If you guys need anything, just send Whisper back, alright?
Don't worry, Imkin. We'll make sure to keep them safe.
Right.
I'll send a message first through the tooth.
Okay.
Alright.
So yeah,
Rolls up
Mudlump then
sleeves.
takes out like a giant sized knife. Like, it looks like kitchen cutlery, and it looks like, all things considered, he may have ordered this through the magazine at one point in time. And Clout, you get the understanding that like this kitchen knife would be like a two-handed greatsword at most for you. Like if you wanted to, you could wield this as a sword, but it's like claymore sized for you.
It's just a hunk of steel.
Yeah. So Lowry, Vice, Balhadur, the three of you.
Oh, I thought I was.
Okay, you're staying behind? Okay. So yeah, Lowry, you and Balhadur are going to go out and go hunting for mountain goat, while Clout and Vice stay behind, with Gleam as well as Amador and Pollinella. So Lowry and Balhadur, I'd like for you both to make survival checks for me.
Oh, a ranger making a survival check.
The
17.
ranger and the druid go out hunting. Let's see what they bring back.
19.
17 and 19. Okay. So it doesn't take you long at all. You are out there in the wilds for probably, I want to say at most, like 45 minutes in this downpour, until you eventually come upon 3 giant goats. And these goats, when you happen upon them, are actually like standing at a slightly elevated place, and they seem to have been like watching you and like acknowledged the two of you on your way up. And when you get to about 30 feet away or so, they begin to speak. Do either the two of you speak Elvish?
Yes.
Nope.
Okay, so Balhadur, the first goat, says,
When the moon obstructs the sun, creeping Lynn will come undone.
The second goat says, play to her passions, stay on script, a cat, a horn, or a shadow ripped. And then the third goat says,
The full scepter is the key.
I assume that you know what you're talking about, at least.
and they nod and they say in unison, wise words from the billy goat's gruff.
Well, we appreciate your wise words, and I do turn and mumble it to Lowry so they understand it as well. I have a question for you. Now that I know that you can speak, do you know of a location where there are goats or sheep that are not as wise as you?
That depends. What do you offer us for such knowledge? We have already bestowed upon you 3 gifts.
Ah, so you wish to trade in wisdom.
And like the 3 of them, like their goat like 2 of them, the eyes nod like yes, yes, and the third one who spokes, their eyes like get even wider and like stare into the middle distance beyond, and their mouth like slightly like agape. Just
What do they want?
Well, they want to exchange wisdom for information. I asked them if they knew where there were sheep or goats that aren't smart. So I have 1 or 2 myself. Do you have any ideas?
Well, is it just knowledge that they're looking for?
Unless you have a gift you're willing to part or something. I find myself unprepared for a physical exchange.
Can you ask them if they can read common?
Do you have the capacity to read common?
is that not what we speak this day?
Oh, at least based on my understanding, you've been speaking to me in an old elvish tongue.
And they look confused, like everyone speaks this. Is this not common?
So there is a Dale-based language that most humanoids speak in another plane of existence called Verun. They call their language common.
I have never heard of such a language. It is most uncommon indeed.
1 moment, and I turn to Lowry. Do you know the actual name of your people's common language?
No.
Pulling it up.
Lowry, what are you attempting to offer them?
Lowry is going to, well, she was going to offer them a smutty romance novel, but instead she's going to offer them some mushroom facts. If they want knowledge.
You see,
Balhadur will have to translate.
You see that you go to like pull out the smutty book, and the third goat, like their eye, like with the whole like rectangle iris, seems to like look directly at that book, and you just see them lick their goat lips.
They seem appetized by your offer.
Lowry will take it out and ask them if they want a romance novel.
And the third goat, like, hops precariously down in the way that goats do, and, like, approaches. You see the, like, lips quiver and open as their teeth come out, and they just bite the side of the book. And then pop it back. And, like, this book is, like, rain's getting on it. The goat's teeth are sunk into it, and they just hop back up to the top. And you see the three of the goats, like, the two of the other goats, like, nod, nod, nod. And then the three of them turn around, you see their heads lower, and there is just the sound, like a... And, like, you see, like, pages flying as, like, their heads are, like, going up and down. And then, like, the three of them, like, clap, clap, clap.
Okay, then.
Is that a fair exchange?
The combination of ink and page was delicious. I especially liked the glue that held the cover together.
They loved it. They ate it right up.
I saw.
If
Well,
you
then.
seek other goats,
That's true. We're looking for goats that aren't as smart as you so that we feel less guilt when we take their lives from them and turn them into food.
your mortal quandary bothers me not, adventurer. 100 yards this way. But beware. They're fucking mean.
That sounds like fun to me, and I appreciate.
And the three goats just nod like, yes, yes, this has been a pleasant exchange.
Well, take care, Billy Goat's gruff. We shall be on our way. So, Lowry, they told us about 100 meters in that direction. There should be goats that we actually can hunt. Do you have anything else you'd like to ask them?
No, I think I'm good.
Very well, then. Take care of yourself, goats. And may we meet once again one day.
The three of them nod. Yeah, true as their
Tally-ho.
word. About 100 meters in the direction that the goat had directed, you end up seeing what looks like a... Well, these were giant goats. These are like regular-sized mountain goats. They don't look like they're of the giant variety at all. And they just seem to be minding your business. The two of you have the drop on them easily enough, and between a ranger and a druid, I would say that you are able to get enough food with you that you'd be able to feed all of you. Maybe, like, you'd be able to feed all of you guys, and that's enough that you can carry. If you wanted to feed the giant as well, or at least have enough, like, meat for the giant to have his own thing, you might have to make a second trip out. Otherwise, just hope that the food that you have is enough. He seems pretty amenable, but...
Oh, Lowry activates the tooth that she gave Clout. We found the goats. We need help. Bring your muscles. Whisper's gonna come get you. Whisper, go get Clout.
Nods, nods, nods.
Well, Moon, I suppose we should get back to it then.
Oh, we should probably just wait here because Whisper's not very good with directions.
Say again.
We should probably just wait here because Whisper's not very good with directions.
Oh, I did not plan to travel far, but we should probably down a few more. The Cyclops' stomach is much larger than ours.
Yeah. 3 more?
That should suffice.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, make another survival check, because again, you can't just like down a couple goats and be like, well, they didn't care. Like their animalistic danger sense kind of fires off at that point.
8 for Lowry. This is not
Well
going
for Balhadur.
Okay, yeah. So the two of you have not managed to find more goats by the time that Clout arrives on the scene. Yeah, and Whisper Clout has appeared to you and kind of gives you like the jinglings, like, I can definitely take us back to where we were. Clout, make a survival check with advantage.
Oh boy, oh boy. 19.
Okay, so 19. Yeah, Whisper, good on him. Good on Whisper for remembering where to go on this one.
Seems we might be defeated.
People seem to believe that he's not good at this.
Maybe it's like a stage fright thing. Like Whisper always excels when it's just the two of you.
Yeah. Aw, that's cute.
Poor Whisper.
When Clout shows up, he's pulled his hair back into a ponytail. He's got a bandana over his hair.
Hi.
All right. What do
This
you
is
need?
a haul so far.
Mhm.
Got a few of them, but none of us, we haven't been able to find enough to supplement the large one.
Gotcha. Do you think we might need to take a couple of trips?
If we think the goats will come back, otherwise, I noticed that your hat is a mushroom, Moon. Are you willing to part with some of those? We
No,
can supplement.
absolutely not. No.
Ah, shame. Wait, do you have druidic spells in which you can grow plants? We can make some soy and supplement some of the lacking meat that we don't have.
Soy?
It's a type of bean that you can grow in moist climates.
I can try.
You've never seen this bean before?
Let me roll for it and see if she has any soybeans on her.
Yeah, make a nature check
nature?
or a history check.
It's a 10. Do I have any soybeans on me?
Soy is not a standard part of the Faerunian diet. I would say probably not on this one.
If you want, I could take to the skies and see if I see any animals from up there. I think. Wait, can I fly it?
It is pretty misty as well. You
No, I
might
can't.
have a hard time seeing up there.
Yeah, I can't yet. Yeah, I guess we should just head back.
Well, I do have one more idea. I know someone who has a better chance of seeing through mist.
Oh,
Simon, has my friend reached their destination?
They have.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they reached it like same day. Very quick.
Then Balhadur will kind of adjust their little. They have this little tiny, very faintly glowing medallion, and they adjust it. And
Sir Talavar, I summon ye!
Like
Lightning!
there is like, it's like the old like 1980s animation like rainbow cone that shoots out, and you see a tiny little silhouette of what is probably going to be a massive dragon, and then it just doesn't get much bigger than that. And you see little gauntlets, a wonderful sword at their hip, and a perfect mustache on a chiseled face. Sir Talavar. I'm sorry, good friend. It's been quite a while. How long has it been? A year? 2 years since last we met?
It might be, but it's good to see you again.
Ah, old apprentice, how can I help you today?
Well, we have been working on a hunt, and I know no one better than taking to the skies and finding marks than you. Would you like to assist us in this?
Of course I would like to assist in this matter. Yeah, my lady. And he sort of like bows in your direction, Lowry.
does he not remember me?
Well, it might have been a long time since we've seen them again, since we last saw them.
What's it been? A year? 2 years?
A couple of
3
days for
years?
us.
Yeah, Feywild's got weird time shenanigans.
That's
Right.
true. Last time I went on a trip, one of my grandchildren became as
Oh.
old as me.
That was you. Oh, now I remember. Yes, the hat and hello, my lady.
And he does the same like bow. And then
I believe you said you were looking for assistance in the hunt. Well, don't worry, Sir Talavar is on it. Whew.
just flies up.
Fantastic. They
You hear this
currently have elemental abilities from lightning.
Okay.
Clout's gonna finish throwing goats over his shoulders, and he's gonna say, "All right, well, I'm gonna get started on taking these back to the cave. Let me know if you catch anything else."
Okay, can you find your way back?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Appreciate the assistance, Nimpkin.
No problem, Bal.
Okay. Yeah, so Clout, make a survival check.
17.
And we never saw Cloud again.
Okay. So 17 from Clout. That's good. And then Balhadur, roll a survival check with advantage because Sir Talavar is helping.
Bloop. And bloop. 22.
Okay, yeah. Sir Talavar is able to expertly track down a set of goats. And he describes these as giant goats. And at first you're just like, is this the same ones that we just talked to? And then you look and you see, like, it's just one giant goat by itself. And, like, you just, like, kind of like, hey, like, just, like, make a quick noise, and the goat just, like, looks around and doesn't seem to recognize any kind of speech.
Lowry, this one here seems like it might not be as wise as the others. You think we should take down a biggin?
Seems fine to me.
Okay. Yeah, and with
All right, then.
and between the two of you, it's
It's the three of us now.
yes, with Sir
And one of us is
Talavar.
literally a taser.
Yeah. It is absolutely no issue to take down this giant goat. The only real issue then becomes between Balhadur and Lowry to move the body of this giant goat between the two of you.
How large is it?
It is a giant goat, which means that it is large-sized. If it was domesticated, you could possibly ride it.
What do I have? That is large. Would you mind if I turned into a warhorse?
I wouldn't. Do you think you can handle the rough terrain as a horse?
It should be fine.
Then I have no problem with it.
It's either that or a giant goat, and I don't know how I feel about turning into a goat carrying a goat.
That would be quite ironic. I like it. Well then, a successful hunt. The case of the starving Cyclops will be closed as soon as we get this big bastard over there.
Lowry will wild shape into a warhorse.
And Sir Talavar cries out, truly a most glorious mount. And like with the giant goat draped over your back, you see that he's just sort of like sitting, like he is enjoying a nightly procession. One of his little fairy dragon wings is up over his head to kind of keep the rain from coming directly onto him, and every once in a while he just sort of twirls his mustache, very pleased with himself that he could assist in such a manner. He is hoping to enjoy this feast in the most in the greatest of capacities. Vice, while you are helping Mudlump out in the kitchen, you see that Mudlump just sort of like their hips start swaying a little bit as they're cooking, and eventually there's just this like
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da, bum, bum, bum.
And they're like singing to themselves idly as they are making the start of this stew.
I think Vice has like cleaned off the bottom of his shoes, hopped up on the counter, and is using a knife dagger to just start slowly cutting vegetables.
Okay.
And he will try and sing along with Mudlump.
And Mudlump, you see his eye goes wide in surprise when you go to sing along, and he looks at you and says,
Do you know strings?
I'm a bit of a performer. Yes, I know some strings.
My hands are too large for strings.
I figured you'd be more of a percussion sort of gentleman.
and he like you can see there is that like he kind of nod on his face, and he goes over to like the side of the tower. You can see has like a couple stones that have been taken out higher up, and he reaches into one of the holes where a stone was, and he pulls out what looks like this absolutely beautiful lyre. It is exquisite in all of its design, and he like gingerly hands it to you, and you can see that it hasn't been tuned yet. And when you go and like touch against the strings, it sounds beautiful, but it is
Untuned.
It is untuned. You just need to spend some time and cinch it on up. And this lyre, you are guessing, on any given day would be worth roughly 250 gold pieces.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
And Mudlump would ask that you would that you play it for him. He apparently likes music when he's cooking.
Sure. 19 total.
Okay. Yeah. And he is like full on in the groove, and like even Gleam, who has been very nervous throughout all of this, like pokes her head in, and at the sound of the music, and she makes eye contact with you, Vice, and you can see that there is a brief moment where a smile is on her face, and then like when she realizes that you're looking at her, looking at you, like a little bit of red comes into the cheeks, and she like goes back out into where the apiary, where the bees are.
Yeah. Vice is gonna sing just the two of us.
And and as you are, like, Mudlump is just like, he's never heard this song before, but like at one point, like, seeming to catch up on the chorus of "Just the two of us," and he's like singing in the most broken common, looking at the front of his cooking magazine.
Yeah, Vice is gonna encourage him, because I imagine we're done with the prep for a while, just to like dance around the living room with the magazine.
Yeah, like you really just gotta let it. Like, you gotta let it stew. That's the point of a stew. But while he is in the process of actually making that broth, he pulls out a jar of honey, and it looks like very viscous. It's that nice golden color, and he just kind of drizzles it into the stew mix, closes it, and he looks at you, and it is said that a Cyclops cannot wink because they only have the one eye. Those who have said that have never seen a Cyclops wink, where it's all about the muscle control on more of one side than the other, as this Cyclops winks at you and says, "Secret ingredient," and then puts the honey back. And it is one of those, like, fucking Winnie the Pooh ceramic pots. Like, it is a massive thing for him. It's a massive thing for you, but for Mudlump, it's like not that big.
Actually, if Mudlump allows me to, I'm gonna scour their spice rack.
Yeah.
For some certain spices.
You can see that they don't necessarily have a spice rack, but they do have a collection of dried herbs and like 1 or 2 peppers that are on there. And you know that for the most part, these kinds of things look like they would not grow well in Yon, and he admits that he has had to stop, or he has had to ask around, because there are travelers who go to the different demi-planes to like pick him things up, and he trades them mead in order to get these spices, which he then uses those spices to make things like spicy mead, matcha mead. Like, that is his specialty, is just whatever meads he can make.
So, Mudlump, do you know what goes excellently with mead?
Anything, everything.
Correct, but my particular palate, I adore something spicy. And Vice is going through the spices. He pulls out coriander, turmeric, cumin, chili pepper, and he's gonna mix them all together to make a curry powder.
Okay. And he just sort of like looks at you curiously, and he pulls out what looks like a stone slab and a handheld chisel, and he starts like writing. No, he's like just straight up carving it into the stone. He doesn't need to chisel it in. He's a big boy. Like, he is writing out whatever it is you're making.
Now,
And
if we had some masala, this would go well, but this spice mixture should do the trick.
and he's, again, just very excited. And Clout, it is around this time where you have like several goats on your back that you see this Cyclops like looking, like watching Vice with the most studious, practiced look that you've ever seen a Cyclops make. To be fair, you haven't... You know a few Cyclops because of the Witchlight Carnival, but, like, this guy is, like... Seems like he's really on top of it, like, whenever food is involved.
Goat delivery.
Oh, Mudlump, could you sign for that, please?
And he just sort of, like, tilts his head when you say sign.
Sorry, it's,
My giant hand language is not utilized often.
Do you know fist bumping? Just... You do that with someone as a greeting.
And he just, like, pops his fist forward. Clout, make a dexterity save for me.
Can do.
Cloud's gonna get launched across the room.
Natural 20 for a 25.
Okay, so Clout, you know to, like, make your arm go lax when the fist connects, and, like, he goes back and, like, you come to a stop, and he just,
Sorry, gentle.
and, like, he, like,
yeah.
does it again. And then he offers his hand out to see the goats that you've brought him.
Yep. Oh,
And
pump them into his palm.
and he takes one of them. He takes a lot of them. Like, he'll take them, like, by the leggies, so it looks like he's just holding, like, in the same way that we would hold, like, a bundle of bananas or some other clustered fruit. He just sort of, like, has them in one hand. And you see him step outside. It is dark, and all you see is a silhouette of him holding a goat up, hand around, down. In the same way that one might skin a rabbit in one fell swoop, he is doing this on a whole-ass goat, just very quickly, one after the other, and it takes him maybe 5 minutes to skin all of the goats that you have brought back.
Just watches with, like, morbid curiosity, like, huh.
Oi, Imkin.
What do you want?
Yeah, I play a liar.
Theoretically.
It's about the same thing as a vial. You just don't... No. Frightening's different. He'll hold up the lyre and hop down to hand it over to Clout. Big Guy likes to listen to music while he cooks, and since I am his sous chef, my hands need to be busy.
Right. He's gonna kind of, like, plunk away at the strings a little bit and try and familiarize himself with the instrument.
Yeah, Vice, make a performance check for me.
I'm Clout, and I will do that.
Yes, Clout. Damn it.
Tiefling number something.
21.
21? Yeah. you know, it's not your go-to. It's not typically what you play. But a string's a string's a string's a string. And by the time that Mudlump is able to come back, you're able to play this lyre with the best of them.
Yep. I just figure out where all the notes are, and I'll play something simple. I'll play something from Hades Town.
Today's gonna be the day.
I'll play one of the epics from Hades Town.
Okay. Yeah, and again, as the lyre is being played, again, kind of like head pokes in from the apiary, and you see Gleam is like looking over at the direction that the music is coming from, and they just have this like kind of pleased look about it. It seems that their love of the theater, especially musical theater, runs rather deep. And so, Clout, you playing a song from one of the more like upper kicked songs from a musical, it seems like Gleam is very much kind of catching on to. And then when you look over, like, you have that like predator sense, like hairs raising, you're like, who the fuck's watching me? Like, you look over and you see her again, eye contact, make little bit of blushies, and then she disappears.
Oh, she's cute.
Yeah?
Hmm.
What about it?
Looks like she appreciates music.
A lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with a like sweeping stride into the abode, blood splattered over them, like the skinned carcasses of 4 ghosts, just the 2 of us. And like the bloodied goats kind of like swing and like blood splatters everywhere.
We can make it if we try, Mudlump.
And he like then just like continues to like sing that song and dance to himself while like goat on a slab, take a big cleaver, like a butcher's knife, just like once through a goat. Okay, and like in the same way that we might cut a carrot, he is like goo 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 goo, like just going to town on it.
Yeah. Vice has stopped helping Mudlump cook. He is sitting down drinking like honeyed mead.
Oh yeah. No, and Mudlump will offer you as much meat as you and Clout as much meat as you would like. And Lowry, you and Balhadur come back with this giant goat. And when you arrive, Mudlump turns and like has like blood spray on them, and like sees the goat, and like their eye gets wide, and like big happy smile on this Cyclops as they come up and like put their like, and it looks like they're about to punch you, but then the punch stops short.
The case of the starving Cyclops is complete.
Lowry's still a horse.
Oh, to avoid confusion, this one here is not part of the food. This is our friend Moon.
Hat.
Horse.
Oh, they do have a hat. Look at that.
And they will take this goat and like grab a knife from the counter, and then they walk outside.
Yeah. So, Imkin, and I did not get your family name. How goes the cooking?
Oh, it's going well. I don't have a family name to give, sadly.
Do you have a clan or title? In my culture, it's disrespectful to address people by first name unless you are close friends or family, and we have just met.
Vice is more of an alias, so I prefer that. It's complicated between myself and my family, so I would prefer it if you would call me Vice. No disrespect.
Very well, Vice. I understand how difficult families can be.
Would you prefer it if I used Morthak?
You cannot. I am from House Balhadur, and we have only known
it's
each
the
other for a
other
few
way.
days.
No, I get it now. It's the other way around. Yes.
Oh, yes, I forgot. You would do it the opposite. Yes.
I apologize.
Family first, in our case.
Surname first. Sir Balhadur. Thank you.
I apologize. Have I been too casual with you? Would you prefer if I called you Balhadur rather than Bal?
Oh, I didn't even notice the nickname. Oh, I cannot tell you how to speak. Just know that if you use my first name, I'll take great offense. Bal seems fine. Unless we're, at court.
Is this tower large enough for a warhorse to fit into?
Oh yeah, I mean it's large enough for a giant,
Cool.
member of Giantkin to go into.
Lowry's just gonna come in as a horse, sit down, and stare at Clout as he plays. I've put a image and questions for the court in case anyone wants to know what it looks like, but a horse just sits down.
Oh my god.
Have we got any veggies on the counter?
Oh yeah.
A few carrots, some potatoes.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach over, grab a carrot, and toss it to Lowry.
Oh, would you prefer hay?
Do we have any?
There's just whinnying.
It just bounced off her
Yeah.
forehead.
When horses do that, like, teeth thing,
Like the
with the nose.
lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's probably swearing at both of you.
Do the two of you understand horse? How do you communicate with the ally when they are in beastly form?
Oh, we don't.
No.
That
think the
seems
only
like a
way-
strategic inconvenience.
I find she only turns into a horse when she doesn't want to talk.
I mean, if you want to speak a little hoarse, I think you just scream for a very long time, and that'd get you pretty hoarse.
I'll give it a shot.
I'm gonna beam Vice with a carrot.
Let me know if you
But
understand this,
dodge.
Lowry.
Just screams at the horse for a minute.
Horse ears just go flat against the head.
Talavar like puts the hands against the tiny little ear holes that they have on the side of their reptilian head, and they just say, "And with that, I think I'll take my leave," and like just disappears.
A shame. They didn't get to do any lightning today.
Was that Sir Talavar?
It was. Yeah, I have the capacity to summon them at any time from any place and change their elemental powers at will.
That sounds very convenient.
It is. It's helped me in a lot. We used it once during the hunt for the four brothers. That's a story I'll tell you.
I'll save it. Dinner's almost ready.
And as you say that, there's the silhouette of this Cyclops holding a giant goat by the leggies. It just comes on in, and then, like, with more care again, like, cuts up this goat, sets it in, and like, again, kind of rumors and stories about giants is that, they'll just eat the whole thing. And a lot of those rumors are about hill giants, not Cyclops. They're very different kinds of folk. And this Cyclops, again, has a knack for the culinary arts. So this gastronomer in training has done the process of kind of making sure that this food is good, and eventually puts a pot onto this giant, or puts a lid on this giant pot, and then says,
You'll know it's done by the smell. In the meantime, drinks.
Already got mine.
I am a bit dehydrated.
Do you have your own cup, or would you like one of mine?
I would love one of yours.
I was gonna say Vice is using like the cup that came with his mess kit.
mm-hmm.
Lowry will turn back into a person. I have my own cup, thank you.
And he nods, and then, for Lowry, you present your cup, and he just sort of, like, looks at it, shrugs, fills it to the top with mead, and, like, a little bit pours over. Vice, he gives you a refill. Clout, if you would like any mead as well, he offers one of his cups or yours.
I'll take his cup.
Okay.
It's a Cyclops cup.
It is.
That's gonna be a really generous portion.
Oh, yeah. And
What's
you
that?
see that he, like, looks at the two of you and looks on his shelf, and you see that, like, his cups are about like standing height, as tall as Clout is. And he's like, sort of looks, and he reaches up and his hand goes past where those are, and he pulls out what look like 2 stone ramekins that are closer to about like, there would be like about a foot shorter than what Pamferdam would have stood at. They're like 2 foot tall ramekins, and he sort of like sets them down in front of you, fills it with mead respectfully.
So it's not so much drinking out of a bucket, but it is a bit like drinking out of a bowl.
It's like when you go
Drinking out of a trough.
It's like when you go to like certain Mexican food restaurants and they have the like, oh, it's our fancy drink, but it really just comes in one of those giant white bowls. It's like that, but just mead.
Oh yeah.
Although I do appreciate it, and I'll take a sip out of respect, do you happen to have clean water?
And
My stomach can't handle too much mead at this age.
He nods, and then you see he pokes his head out of the back where the apiary is, and there is a quick yelp as Gleam, who is apparently sitting right up against the stone wall, then like rushes inside at the side of this, and you hear Amador just, "Have at you! No, right, Pollinella. That's right, we're not mad at him anymore. My apologies, fellow." And there's a grumbling in giant. And Balhadur, what Mudlump carries with them as he returns back is actually just like a rain barrel. And sets this giant rain barrel that's like cup-sized for him in front of you.
Thank you very much. And then
nods.
I will...
Someone in chat, please clip that.
Yeah, so everyone has drinks, and Gleam at this point sort of like will sit. I think that Gleam would sit. Whoever is like across the way from Clout and Vice, she will sit with. Like, she doesn't want to sit too close to the either of the two of you. But
She can sit with Lowry.
yeah, she'll sit with Lowry, and Mudlump will offer her some meat, and she'll have like a reasonable sized container of it. And
That's
then,
my
after she drains her glass, you will notice that, like, when Balhadur goes to, like, take a sippy of water, she'll just, like, dip it into his container.
Smart.
And then Balhadur, you look back and it's like, oh, I must have drank more than I thought that I did.
I am parched.
Vice is gonna turn to Clout and Clout, my dear boy, do you know any jigs?
I don't like where this is going.
Oh, I'm not dancing with you. Why would I have a dance with you? You've got 2 left feet.
I still don't like where this is going.
You knew that was a witch's curse!
Just play the damn song.
At this point, I think Lowry is hiccuping and talking to whoever's closest to her, even if it's a sack of flour.
It's Gleam.
About how much she didn't realize drinking could be so much fun, and she's never done it before, but she's so glad she did.
Oh no, Lowry.
Yeah, and Gleam, I think Gleam is definitely like, she thought that this was the right place to sit, but Lowry was just like, I've just never done this before. This is so much fun. And like, as like an older elf, she is having this just like, oh fuck, oh god damn it, oh no.
Oh, no.
Like, I sat next to the woo girl, didn't I? This is a bad time.
Clout starts to starts a couple of different jigs on the lyre, and he just can't get his fingers to go fast enough, and he says, fuck it. He puts the lyre down, and he stands up with the viol, and he just lays into it.
Okay, make a performance check.
Vice is going to...
help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alleyway, bully in the alley.
Vice is
Oh,
gonna reach
no.
across the table and cast minor illusion. From his fingers, there are these little threads as two marionettes appear, and he'll just make them dance.
Nice.
Anybody
Could
want
that
to
be an
assist me on this one?
assistance?
What'd you roll?
Natural 1 for an 8.
Could we
Join
use
in with the shanties that I know.
Yeah, could we use the minor illusion as an assist for Clout?
Yeah.
I'd say yeah. I'll allow that. So yeah, Clout, roll again and don't get in that one.
All right. I will go ahead and bardically inspire myself too, because why not?
We're going to bed
Uh,
after this anyway. Oh,
Bards
nice.
cannot inspire themselves.
They cannot.
It is target another creature.
Oh, it does. It says specifically other than yourself. All right.
I learned
well,
that from Baldur's Gate 3.
That's gonna be a 14.
Okay, a 14? Yeah, it's not bad. And like, Lowry, you were just watching these tiny little puppet people go. They're just dancing around. Make a wisdom save for me.
Oh no. That's a natural 1 for a 7.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
Lowry, this is your first. You said this is your first time drinking?
Mm-hmm.
You see the little marionette people dancing? And earlier today, when you also saw a marionette, you saw that it was marionettes of your friends, and the unicorn got taken away. You forgot that you had a unicorn friend, and the unicorn friend was in love with Lenora, and now they can't be together. And it's just like the immediate spiral. Like everyone was having a good time, Lowry, and now it's just like, fuck.
So, so you're telling me that Lowry ran from the woo girl to a boo-hoo girl?
Yes. There is always that very quick step that can happen between those two.
Lowry is now just bawling on the other side of the table and probably on the verge of casting a flaming spear at these marionettes because they're a threat.
Your music is moving this one to tears. Fantastic.
Oh, I didn't know you were a lover of the arts, Lowry.
What? No, it's awful because they're and then they're gone and the mist and I hate it here.
I
wanna go home.
I don't know if dismissing these marionettes would make things worse or better.
And Gleam is just like one hand on your back, just circles. She's like very low tones in Elven. Like, it's okay. Don't worry. You're gonna be okay. Just
Worry slightly.
We will try and get out of here as soon as possible. I do apologize if any of this is traumatic to you.
And Mudlump, seeing you cry at this, is just like kind of like stands up, goes over to the kitchen, top off of the pot of stew. If the stew wasn't ready before, it's ready now. Like, yeah, and he like fills up these bowls, and Lowry, you're just like, and like a bowl of stew is just like set in front of you, and there is just that like, oh, food, like can't even remember what you were crying about before. Whose tears
That
are
tracks.
these? It must be raining.
Quietly, like, just lifts the minor illusion, sets his hands under the table, dismisses them out of eyesight.
And Gleam, like while all this is happening, is just like taking Lowry's cup, empties the meat into hers, fills
Scoop
the
some
cup up with water, sets it back over. And that whole process, yeah, she ended up getting about a 16 on sleight of hand. So if people's passive perception is above 16,
What is?
Mine's
Molly, what is
13.
my passives? Well, my passives are aggressive.
I have an 18 passive perception.
yeah. So Balhadur, you would see what is happening at this point. You've gotten drunk with your kids before. You've gotten drunk with your grandkids before. This is
Poisoned.
like, yeah, she gonna have a. It's always the people who say this is so much fun.
I just mouth the words "thank you" to Gleam.
And she just like
They'll be all right in the morning.
yeah, she nods. We just need to get some food in her. That's all. And so yeah, guys are able to participate in this shared meal, and rightfully, it's delicious. It's a really solid meal. It's got like that little bit of curry kick to it. It has like all the vegetables, and like the curry acted as like a thickening agent as well. So like whereas normally this would have been kind of like a little bit of a more flimsy stew, you've kind of made it a little bit more sturdy, more hearty as well, and it comes out just like with the mix of goat milk as well added into this to kind of like create like this very nice vegetable medley along accompanied with the meat. It's a little chewy from the goat meat itself, but all things considered, like it pulled together really well. And like after a few bites, Mudlump will like set down their bowl and goes back over to like their chisel pad and just starts like writing all of the notes, like writing the like any kind of like flavor notes, texture, like anything that they can use to then remember this recipe later on.
So,
Sure.
yeah, this is great. This is nice.
So, normally Amador does the talking, but I just figured I would ask, do you all have a plan going into Mother Horn? I mean,
Do we have a plan?
No.
Usually, well, we were gonna formulate a plan after some reconnaissance.
well, if it helps, I mean, I have been there before. I was a guest there for a little while until, my shadow was removed. Do any of you, it's a little outside my wheelhouse, but are any of you skilled on removing curses?
Sorry.
I can handle poisons, but not curses.
No, but I can heal you in a fight. You're really pretty, by
Well, thank you.
Knives are my specialty. Sorry.
That's fine. So knives, healing, removing poison, all of those are very good. And then one of you can play music very well. Two of you.
Thank you.
Actually.
Does anybody have any paper and chalk or charcoal or anything? If you've been inside the building, we would greatly appreciate as much of a detailed description of the layout that you can provide us.
I've got ink and paper.
I can do
Excellent.
my best to try and get it. It's a very big place, and I didn't go to very many of the places within, but I do have an understanding of at least that central level.
Well, and give us what you can. If you're doing your best, then we should never be upset at you.
And she smiles and says thank you.
Clout will produce a cylindrical scroll case, pop off the top of it, and dump out some paper, get out a bottle of ink, and set it up for her.
Okay. Sounds good. And she will take some time to draw out the levels that she has been to the best of her ability. And she draws what looks like a large stage. Then there are several other separate chambers. There's ones that have like rows of seats, that sort of thing. And she's just sort of giving like rough estimates as to the size of each of these rooms, and is doing her best to remember where things are. But through that, she will give you a rough layout of 2 of the levels of the keep. And as she's doing it, she also says, going up against her head on isn't going to be a great option.
Oh, we are fully aware that she does have one glaring weakness.
The eclipse.
The eclipse. And from what I remember someone saying, it doesn't need to be a physical eclipse. It could be some manifestation of it, painting, maybe trickery of the light.
Lowry, do you think the things that the goats told us pertain to this situation?
The goats, the one that ate the book?
Yeah, those those words of wisdom they imparted on us. It sounds somewhat on topic. Can we get a copy paste or a retelling of those quotes?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. And I will have that ready by the time that we are back from break.
Endolin is weak to the moonlight, or to the eclipse. Play to the script. There was like a cat, goat mentioned. Don't remember the third one.
Scepter is the key. Was the
Scepter
third
is
one. Yeah, I only have it partially
That
written
one
down.
was the most straightforward.
The Fool's Scepter is the key.
Oh, we're getting a Jester Scepter.
The proof of fools are getting a full scepter.
And it is at this point that Gleam also says that one of the things that she also does not have are many allies.
She doesn't have many allies? Like, many?
M-A-N-Y. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Sorry.
whether they are many allies or many in number remains to be seen, but from what I know, there are Korreds that are to the south of here, and there is a possibility that they would be willing to help, at least assist in taking down
What are
Endolin.
Korreds?
Korreds are small fey creatures. They are known for being able to grow their hair at will, whether it is their nose hair, their beards, or their head hair. And the hair that is made, they are able to cut, or in this case, Endolin is able to cut. And the hair is stronger than steel.
It's impressive.
Huh.
You said they might be able to help us.
That is true. I know generally where they gather, but I haven't ever seen them.
All right. Still.
I could take you to them, or Amador will be able to take you to them.
Yeah. We won't force you to do anything you're not comfortable doing, of course. So if you wish to show us the way, we would be glad.
And she nods and says, I think Amador would like to spend some time to at least make sure that Polynella is able to be freed. I'm not entirely sure that he trusts our giant friend. And you can see that Mudlump is cleaning the knives and doing general, putting stuff away. He's being very hospitable. But Amador is very
Suspicious.
suspicious of this giant. So Gleam, has instead suggested that they would be able to at least make the journey with you.
All right.
And she says, to be honest, I would feel not knocking him at all, but I would feel a little bit safer around 4 individuals who have removed 2 of the Hourglass Coven versus a 3-foot-tall sentient sunflower.
Let's keep
That's
that
fair.
information between
Just
us.
mum's the word.
I thought bird was the word.
What word?
No. Grease is the word. It's got a groove. It's got a meaning.
And
Ah.
right as Gleam looks at you and says, Grease, lightning strikes across the sky. And that is where we are going to break for the evening. So we're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink. Go and listen to Grease Lightning on YouTube. Or go to our merch shop. We got a lot of great stuff. It all goes to support some excellent charity at Doctors Without Borders. So, again, we're going to try and be back shortly. Don't go no place. All right, everybody. See you soon. And we're back.
Simon!
Ah!
Hey, so I'm going to be running a game coming up, and I was wondering
Oh.
if you have any notation devices that you would wish to shill.
Actually, I do. So, just in case you were wondering, like, there are a lot of us out there who are currently living in places with unprecedented heat. I personally hate it, and you want to know what contributes to the warmth inside of my house? Having my computer on, having electronics on. It's a bad time. You want to know what's a really good analog way to do all the same thing that I was doing? RookandTheRaven.com. If you get a personalized journal, you can use it for character notes, you can use it for DM notes. I was actually using mine over the weekend to write out some campaign ideas. Not necessarily just for campaign 2, but
You
for a lot
too?
of upcoming stuff that I was thinking of. I know! I figured I was going to be by a river. I was going to be nowhere near a source of power other than my own pen and paper. And of course, you can do that with your personalized journal from the Rook and the Raven. Sadly, you won't be able to get this sweet Deus Ex Machina style cover. I think it was just called Ex Machina. For your Rook and the Raven journal, because it is no longer available on their store.
You can get mine.
You can get Sarah's because they're still available. Because you know what, they cycle through covers all the time. So maybe if you don't like this style cover, you don't like the one that Sarah has, eventually one will show up for you. And if you go to shop.therookandtheraven.com, you can pick out your cover. You can pick out all the little like bindy bits that hold your book together. You can
You
pick out
know-
the pages. What?
Speaking of those bindy bits, can I tell you my favorite part?
Yeah, tell me.
So let's say that I just created a significant NPC and my party kills them. I can easily just remove it right from there. But then what happens if my party decides that that's a beloved NPC and they want to resurrect her and
You know,
bring
I've
her
been
back?
thinking that I've been thinking the same thing. Can you really just like, oh my god?
You can just pop it right back in there.
Witchcraft!
That
Okay,
is
but
Second.
I have a problem though. What if I've already burnt the page?
well.
Well, then you
That's
gotta
on you.
rewrite it. I
Well,
can't
so
do
you know
anything
what?
about that.
I could buy more pages from the Rook and the Raven because all of the notebooks are customizable.
And completely modular. And you want to know what the best way to utilize all of the information that we've just given you is? If you go to shop.therookandtheraven.com and use the code HypeGoblin, not the HypeGoblin, just HypeGoblin, you get 15% off of your entire purchase. The ring bindies, the pages, the covers, everything that we've showcased, except for I think the leather wraparound, because that was like a custom thing that has been given to our dear Hype Goblin friend, can be
was.
found at shop.therookandtheraven.com. Get yourself 15% off. It is an incredible deal.
Yeah,
Thank
come
you,
on.
RJ,
If
for
you want a
reminding
disorganized mess
Yeah.
like this, or do you want something awesome?
I can't
like
even
Simon
see your
and
notes.
Sarah
They
have?
bleed into your green screen.
And if you're one of the lucky folks that is going to Gen Con, Deja from the Rook and the Raven is going this year, not as a booth, but they will be there walking around. So just say hi and let them know if you like the product, and also tell them that you think the Hype Goblin's pretty cool,
Do
or
it.
that you think I'm weird, or that you dislike me. I don't know. You're
I'm
you.
all-
Do
Let
whatever
them
you
know
want.
that you found out about this ad at Indoor Adventures, and who knows?
Maybe something could happen in the future. Ah, who was
I'm
whispering that?
working
What
on
a
it.
strange stage whisper. Anyways,
It's Gwen.
it's
Gwen
Gwen
Stacy.
whispering for 2 campaigns over. Okay, but
Oh, I love you all.
love you too. And of course, we do love therookandtheraven.com as well.
We do.
Now, with that, okay, remember, deep breaths, get into character. We're back. So, at this point, Gleam has just informed you all that she knows of a place where the Korreds end up meeting. She hasn't been able to see them herself. She also, has exhibited that she is kind of shy around new people. And so being able to speak on her own behalf as far as speaking to the Korreds may seem a little bit outside of her range, but she seems very certain that that is something that at least the 4 of you would be able to do as well. And at this point, Mudlump then kind of sits crisscross applesauce down, and you can see has a fresh stone slab. And then Vice, he looks at you and points to his head. Because he doesn't know how the communication thing works.
It lasts. This one lasts for 5 hours. So,
Okay, so it'd
neat.
still be active. And he will ask, effectively, how did you like it? Are there any comments or notes? Are there things that he should take into consideration about the meal that has been prepared for you? Same with the meat. He's also he seems like he's less willing to negotiate how the taste and everything of the mead, but the food he's still no, tell me what pointers I could take from this.
Mead was lovely. The food. If you were to try the curry recipe again, I suggest instead of using the honey, pour in the mead and cook an extra 10 minutes to let the alcohol cook off.
He slow nods, writes that in there.
Low and slow.
And then you see he mouths the common
Low. Slow.
Shallots would be a good addition too. Maybe some.
and he
This was-
kind of nods and asks, what do shellfish have any place for in this dish?
No, shallots. It's a type of root plant.
Oh.
It's like onions, but also not onions.
Oh.
Milder.
Not scallop.
Mm-hmm.
Shallot.
Yeah. This was the best stew I've ever had.
And he just sort of nods, and you see that he's making the motion that he's writing something, but you can tell, the rest of you can tell he's not writing anything that Lowry was saying on that one.
I did have a curious question for those who are local here. Is it always this misty and rainy, or are there days where it's much clearer?
Always like this.
Alright, so the visibility won't get any better.
No.
How often are there hazards in the sky? Yeah, lightning excluded, like bats, other birds, flumps, those types of things.
And he says, every hour, on the hour, there is lightning.
Right, but besides the lightning, is there anything else we should be concerned about if we were to fly around, besides mountains and lightning?
If you go near the beacons, there are large birds with face that looks bitey. They have horns.
Birds with horns. Are they the guardians of these beacons?
I don't ask. When lightning strikes, their shadows look like a man.
Oh, that's interesting.
Can I roll to know what this is?
Yeah, all of you can make a nature check if you would like.
Nature.
Nature or Arcana.
I'm gonna for Arcana? I got 15.
Oh, I got 0 and
I'm
neither of
rolling
those, so I'm
nature.
good.
Screw my Arcana rolls. That's not any better. That's a 9.
Okay.
Lowry's on a roll today.
Vice has shifted positions. He is sitting next to Lowry, and he is also getting super plastered because I rolled an 8.
Okay.
I rolled
Vice, did you know that fungi are genetically closer to humans than plants?
Oh, did you know that bananas are also closer genetically to humanoids?
Really?
So if we had a mushroom banana hybrid, we could make a full humanoid.
And you see that Gleam is like looking very concerned at the two of you as you're saying this. But Clout, you rolled a... What'd you roll?
15.
And Balhadur, what'd you roll?
Oh, I didn't even bother. I have a +0 on both of them.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, Balhadur, you're like, that sounds interesting.
That sounds like a thing.
Yep.
Give me a-
Clout,
give me-
you would recognize the
Give me a
description.
yes or no. I know what it is.
You do. Yeah.
Okay. I think Clout just sort of like leans forward a little bit, sort of scratches at his beard. Well, most of us aren't elves, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
And Gleam's head sort of like slowly turns towards you.
Can you keep a low profile?
I
don't understand. Are these birds racist?
They're not
Cretans?
birds. Has anybody ever heard of a parrotin?
And at that, Gleam's eyes go wide. And she's like, oh.
Heard of a what now? I missed it.
Flying
I got even
beaver
quieter.
with sharp teeth.
Could you reiterate that, Wing? Sorry.
Yes, I can. As soon
Check
as
the
I rectify
throttles.
that throttle.
Keep that setting open all the time.
Oh, all the time. They're flying deer with sharp teeth. They've got a vendetta against elves.
Dear, all right. Now that's good meat.
Well, they think you're good meat too.
Oh, I am. My species is actually very delectable, but I would not recommend it. I wouldn't appreciate it.
Wouldn't
There's
want to
some
eat-
tragic lore behind it, but I'm sure we don't want to get into that.
Nice. Cool. Cool.
It looked like you had your hand up there for a second, Vice. Did you have something?
Lowry gives Vice a high five.
Thank you. It was gone. It was there for a second, and then it was gone.
There
I took care of it. It's fine.
8 big birds.
8 of these.
Are they yellow?
A lot.
It's dark.
Like right now? Or...
No. Well, yes. All the time. Hard to see their color.
Oh,
I did notice that. It seems that this part of this demi-plane does some sort of desaturation thing with our eyes.
Hmm.
It is interesting.
Yeah, and he just sort of like nods along. Like you used a very large syllable word, and he's like, I don't really know what that means. But he seems to at least understand the general idea of it. And Gleam also kind of notes that everything is damp here, or dampened. That is the way that Endlin seems to enjoy it, because then the spectacle that she puts on, the plays, are that much more fantastical, that much more bright in comparison.
Are the plays a daily, weekly occurrence?
Weekly, for the most part.
Do they
Or
always
at
put
least-
it on, or do they have like an open mic once in a while?
Oh, no. There is no open mic.
Damn, so we can't offer our own bards apostrophe after the S services.
She might be looking for actors.
She is always looking for actors. She's always looking for new
Okay.
talent. Much in the same way that the Witchlight was, in a sense, always hiring. So is Endlin.
It might be wiser then for us to try and become or at least have some of us become actors rather than aerial reconnaissance. It sounds like. How far away are these beacons?
The Fey beacons?
Yes, like if I were to fly right now, would one of those, what did you call them?
Peritons.
Would they see me from here if I were to try and scout out the keep?
Probably not. The beacons are about a mile or so away.
All right.
Mile,
okay.
2 miles?
So at least for now, we don't have to worry about the Peritons.
I wouldn't do something like that though. If there are these birds and there's a number of them, I don't know if they're pack hunters or not. That sounds very dangerous.
If they're a pair of 10, should we just call them a 20 to make it simpler?
Because if there's 2 pairs of them,
There is a hand that reaches over, strokes like Lowry's back. You're doing great, honey. You're doing so great.
Thank you.
all right. How confident are you to Vice and Imkin with your theatrical skills?
They're very good.
They are.
They're the reason that we did so well at the Witchlight Carnival.
Ah, that's good to know. You seem very excited, and it's always good to know that you've got fans.
Gotta be honest with you. If it's just me, I don't think I'm making it in.
Oh,
I'm not
well,
a fan. I'm a druid.
I have had some practice in the theater as well.
Never played an instrument in my life. Shit-eating grin from Vice.
I must have accidentally drank some meat. I swore I saw you with an instrument earlier, but yeah, my mistake.
He's
A
humble.
habitual liar.
Oh, that's the word for it. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I was saying, if the 2 of us try out, I don't think there's any way that we fail.
If you both try out and she takes you into the theater, I don't think that there's a way that you come out with your friends.
Do they do something to the actors?
She is very strong. Arguably the strongest of her sisters.
Then you two can't go in. You can't go alone. You have to go with us. We have to stay together.
Yes, we
Yeah.
would be combat ineffective.
The problem with that, Lowry, is if she's anything like her sisters, she'll be able to sniff you out. And if she's received news of her sister's demise, if there's any description of us, it'd be a giveaway, as it were.
Ah,
Am I right in assuming that as soon as she takes on a performer, there are more prisoners than performers at that point?
And she nods.
ah.
She lets you in to perform, and the way that she keeps you from leaving is that she finds the thing that you care the most about. And she makes sure that you stay, or else you have nothing to go back to.
Ah, all right.
I don't think I want to work for her.
How,
I think most
you-
people don't want to work for Endolin.
were you under her employ?
My sister and I auditioned, and she realized that we were the Salil twins. I was the sun, or I was the moon, and my sister was the sun. My sister is currently being held in Motherhorn.
That's Glimmer, right?
Glister, yes.
Glister and Gleam.
What was the name of this place?
Motherhorn.
Motherhorn.
Think not only because of the talent, but you could have conceivably made an eclipse.
That is true. If you stood in a line, you and your sibling, that would be a better eclipse than I could come up with.
So, she kidnapped my sister, cut my shadow, and sent me out here. Fae without shadow are generally not trusted. We are seen as deceivers.
Yeah, this is true.
That's why I'm so thankful to the four of you. And to you, Mudlump, for extending me your hospitality. If it's numbers, again, I think that the Korred would be able to best assist us in this, or at least provide some insight.
Sounds like we are going to need to amass an army.
Or at least gather more information. I wasn't there for very long. And like you said, Balhadur, speaking with the locals is going to be more useful than it will be to try and infiltrate this fortress. Because this isn't a hag's hut. This isn't a simple 2-room alcove. This is a fortress. This is a place of their own creation. This is their lair.
It is their lair.
All right. Well, we've been barely scraping by as it is. I think that we should be really careful going forward.
Agreed. How many of us can fly?
About a minute.
Same. We can do a quick flyby, reconnaissance, and then take what little information we have to these Korreds. Get to know them.
Hesitant to go into the sky with as much lightning going on as there is.
As well as the Pratons, and also we might give ourselves away.
Well, low visibility due to the smoke, or the mist. The Peritons are over a mile away, so we have the time to ground ourselves. What was the third thing?
Lightning.
It seems to always be horizontal.
Has lightning ever actually struck the ground at any point, or is it always just like lines in the sky?
It always seems to be lines in the sky. It does not seem... It looks like it connects to the towers and then shoots off towards Motherhorn.
So although those are valid concerns, and I do respect you thinking of these things, it seems like we actually might have some protection. And I wouldn't want to stay long, seeing how we can only fly for a minute. It'd be a single flyby, but...
Well, I think that you have more experience in the sky than any of us.
Probably not. I can make wings, but a bit jiggles their armor. I'm a bit on the heavier side these days.
Personally, I think that we should stay on the ground as much as possible.
Well, if the party is not comfortable with doing this, it would be foolish of me to do it myself for my own life and risking yours.
I could turn into something small and try to sneak in.
But they said once you go in, you might not come out.
You know what? Let's take it slow. Do like Gleam said. Start with the Korreds. Just try to feel things out. Talk to some people, get some more information on the outside before we start thinking about any sort of infiltrations.
Did we have anyone else besides the Korreds that we can also commune with? Do you have allies in other the other demi-plane sections?
I
Do you have
don't
any
think they can
gangs
come
that you
here.
can get away with?
Me?
Or anyone. If we have allies nearby and hither or thither, we can also try and send word to them. It would be asking them to come into this dangerous place, but if we're going to siege the keep, we might as well bring everything we have.
It's not much of a standing army, Balhadur. It's a bunch of children and a bunch of frog people.
Traversing through the mist is dangerous, and confusing. They would need a guide.
And our guide was kidnapped.
Ah, yes, that is true. They then disregard that for now.
How about
I can
this?
summon to Sir Talavar whenever I need them, well, once per day, but we at least have them to join us.
Right. How about this? We go talk to the Korreds, and if anything comes up, if they have some information on a flight route that passes by the Citadel, we could use it as a scouting method.
I like that. All right, I like that.
All right. Are we clear to spend the night here?
Well, they did give us these blankets.
Yeah, and it seems like at this point, Mudlump is like, after he's written the notes, he's like putting the stew away, and then has sort of like left like a large cask of mead near your group, and is like in a corner and like putting skins and furs and blankets on top of himself. And just
Leaves
like
out mead for us, like cat food.
closes the one singular eye, and then you just hear a
Bless. Let's find a spot that isn't in the middle of the floor, just in case Mudlump decides to take a walk in the middle of the night.
Ah, that is wise.
But if we're gonna do this bright and early tomorrow, we should probably get some rest.
and Gleam nods and says that she'll go and inform Amador of the upcoming plan, and then she'll come back and sleep as much as she needs to. She is an elf, so there isn't much need for sleep, but she'll at least meditate.
All right. Clout will busy himself about putting up all of his equipment. He is rolling up the map that we had Gleam make for us, and I think he will linger a little bit longer as everybody else is getting to bed, and he'll wait for Gleam to come back.
Yeah.
Right. I have to do a nightly ritual since I am away from home. I'll find a spot to do that. It might take a while, and I don't want to keep people up.
Okay. Yeah, and like Balhadur, you if anything, it's like nobody's gonna be in the apiary doing anything. So going towards the place where all the bees are being kept seems like the smartest choice. That and they're tame bees. They're not aggressive by any means. They've been
Most bees are
nice.
respectable if you don't agitate them.
Yep. And so you pass Gleam on the way out, and Gleam comes back in, and Clout sees you putting things away, and she just sort of stops and sees you, and then she still is a little has a little rosy in the cheeks from the mead that she had earlier. And Lowry, at this point, I imagine that you were just passed out. Vice, you made sure to tuck her in and are also getting cozy. And she'll come up and say, a deep breath. There is that little bit of a pause, you could tell she is thinking about what to say, and then says, I think you played wonderfully.
Thanks. I'm not really a musician, but I do my best. And he's gonna pour himself one last glass of mead, and he'll pull out another glass and just sort of offer to her.
She'll nod and take it.
All right. He'll just sort of lean there for a second, sipping quietly, and then he says, "We're gonna do everything we can to get your sister back."
And she nods and says, why did you come to this place? Not here specifically. I mean, the Cyclops apparently offered us safe passage here, so I can understand wanting to have gotten out of the rain, but why, if you don't mind me asking, did you come to Prismere? This doesn't exactly seem... If I had known what was here, I don't think I would have come as willingly as I did. So why did you?
I think I lost my way. I've got a sister too. And I'm trying to find my way back to her.
And your sister, what's she like?
Kind. Smart as a whip. Doesn't take any shit. She's training to be an alchemist.
It's noble. My sister is brash. She is strong-headed and always knows the words that she is going to say the minute they leave her mouth. In a sense, my sister is everything that I am not.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way about Cordial too.
That's a nice name. Do you ever find it strange that even though you are the opposite of your sister, that there is a sense of almost a dramatic effect to it? Mummers would describe it as a foil, that there is, well, a sun and a moon.
Well, you kind of watch each other's backs, you know? I'm not the sharpest crayon in the drawer, and
She has a little bit of a smile and just nods.
a lot of the times she can't be as assertive as she needs to be, so we make up for each other's weaknesses.
I understand that.
But hey, I haven't seen her in 8 years. She probably has figured out how to get along without me.
Regardless of if she has learned to live in a world where you are not present, I doubt that there would be a single moment where if you were flying through the air and she was on the other trapeze, that she would not reach out to grab for you. As much as my sister infuriated me at times, and our personalities didn't particularly line up from time to time, the show must go on. In our performances, our lives were constantly on the line, but we always knew that the other had our back, that their hand would always be there. So knowing that my sister is in danger, it feels very difficult, because for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm in the air and my hand is stretched out. And it's not that my sister doesn't want to assist, but I don't know if she will catch me, or if I'll be the one to catch her. Anyway, I'm sorry for bringing down the mood.
No, it's okay. It's just really resonated. We'll do everything we can.
I know.
Hey,
And I hope that you do.
if we do see any paradins, just stick close to me, okay?
She nods. And she will finish her glass and then hand it back to you and say thank you. And she then says, I was at the Witchlight for quite a while. You might say that you're not much of a performer. You played beautifully. And then she'll turn and leave.
Just a rush of color to his cheeks. And then he just kind of clears his throat, finishes his drink, and busies himself with something else.
As soon as she leaves, there's a stirring from the corner. Vice is just getting up. He has a pipe in his mouth and he's walking towards like the exit. If you see any paradins, stick close to me.
Sorry, I need a minute. He's just gonna rush him.
Oh!
Okay. And then Vice, as you go out to smoke, are you sticking relatively near the tower? Are you kind of just like wandering around, making sure to keep it in sight?
Yeah, he'll keep it inside. He needs like to get some air.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things as well where you have to have like the hand umbrella going on because it's raining unless you go and find like an overhang somewhere. Make a survival check to determine whether or not you need to do the cuppy hand.
And umbrella.
Yeah.
That's a 12.
Okay, a 12. Okay.
If anything, he has like his jacket that he's gonna just like have over the pipe, take a puff, and then
Okay. So as you are you go into this slight overhang, you can see that in this structure, in this area that you have found yourself at, when one of the lightning bolts strikes, on a small hill not too far from where you are, there appears to be a large stone chair that is just sitting on what looks like a precipice that overlooks the vastness of the cloud cover that exists around the outer edge of Yon.
Yeah, you meander over that way.
Okay. And when you encounter this throne, you can see that it is hewn from a single boulder, that it was just like carved and sheared to be this singular seat. And you see that it is etched with a variety of astronomical signals or sigils, symbols. Yeah, that word, symbols.
I have a very fun thing as a warlock now.
You also see, in Elvish, engraved around the seat of the throne, it reads, I am a traveler from a distant land. My name is Mazikoth, Keeper of Stars. Sit on my throne, disciple, and unravel.
So I have Eyes of the Runekeeper, and I can read all writing.
Yeah. It helps that it's an Elvish.
Cool. Are these, like, runes on it, like, ravings of a madman, or, like...
They are... Make an intelligence check for me. Intelligence or Arcana. Just because you can read it doesn't mean you can understand it, but let's see where that goes.
Let us... Well, it's the same check. 19.
19? This looks like... Say you had a map that you had the longitude, latitude for. Now imagine you gave that the y-axis that goes into that 3-dimensional space. Now apply that to a map of everything above. The very stars in the sky, suns, moons, galaxies. It looks like the symbols that are written on here are giving a description of a place, a singular place.
He's gonna lean around the side of the chair and look at the tower, if that's within view.
It is not. It is actually, it looks like the chair is facing off into...
Oh no, I imagine he walked to the front of the chair.
Gotcha.
So he's like leaning to the side. Well, unraveling wouldn't be the worst thing to happen to me. How big is this chair?
It is large enough for a humanoid-sized creature, and as you kind of sit in, it seems to fit rather well. It's kind of nice.
All right, mighty stargazer, unravel this disciple.
Okay. So, as you stare, you've just taken a nice, a good, one for the road from your pipe. You sit down. There's like a little bit of like mist and rain. The heavy rains have kind of let up at this point, and as you sit, after a minute goes by, what appears before you is that it looks like the clouds part, and you are met with an infinitesimal starry sky. And as you stare at this starry sky, it looks like the old Windows 2000 screensaver where the stars are getting closer to you. And the clouds seem to separate, and it is like the opening of Thor Ragnarok, where Thor is on the chair, and all of the lights and the Bifrost is going by. And Vice, that is you just sitting, looking at this, as it looks like the entirety of star space, of the astral plane, of everything that could possibly be found in the area above where you call ground, is just shooting past you until, as you are hurtling, that hurtling seems to stop and you feel yourself slightly adrift, and filling your vision is what looks like a sphere. But the sphere is black. It is dark. It is dead. Nothing is glowing from it. Nothing is growing from it. But it seems that space and time is warping to try and touch it. But it can't. But it is held in place, this celestial body. And you feel a sensation in the back of your neck, like a droplet of water that has just made contact with the surface. And as that rippling seems to kind of fill your body, you get a fragment of Mazakot's psyche. So,
Okay.
Arcana, Deception, History, Insight, Intimidation, or Survival. Pick one. You are now proficient in it.
Oh, damn. I'm gonna become proficient in Arcana.
Okay. And as you are doing this, now, it is noted, Clout, Vice said something shitty, or like made fun of you for having this like tender moment, and then he left. About 30 minutes goes by, you still have not seen Vice. 45 minutes goes by, you have not seen Vice. An hour goes by, and you have not seen your party member. Does this concern you at all, or are you just like, fuck that guy, and like, blank it over?
Well, the first 30 minutes, it's all like, yeah, good riddance. And then like 45 minutes goes by and it's all like, he must be really scared of me. And then an hour goes by and it's all like, all right, what the fuck's going on? So he's going to stick his head out just to like get, just to see if he happens to be nearby or if he's being eaten by something.
Yeah, make a survival check. Or a
Okay.
perception check, I guess, if you're trying to, like, give a good looky.
I mean, either one. 19?
A 19? Okay. Yeah, you see... You don't see Vice. But you do see from your looky that there is a nice overhang where you know that you would go if you wanted to get out of the rain. And so you kind of like tread over towards where that overhang is. And then from there, again, sort of like looking around. And you, again, searching around, your eyes fixate on what looks like the back of this sheer face. And you can see that like twin horn pattern just like poking up over it.
There'd be like a bit of smoke coming out as well.
Sure.
Hey, dipshit, you actually gonna sleep tonight or what?
There's no response.
Hey, dipshit, I'm talking to you.
There's still nothing from that area.
Motherfucker. He walks up and he, like, comes around the corner and he's all like...
You see that Vice's eyes are just fucking, like, wide. Like, he's staring into the middle distance and something in the middle distance has just, like, revealed itself to him.
Can I see that this is, like, some sort of magic fucking... chair he's
Yeah, like
in?
the glyphs on the chair at this point, the smoke is actually coming from the glyphs. And it like as you like get your hands near it, it's like the heat is cooling, and as you're like looking, like your face is super close to Vice's. Vice, like you blink, an hour has gone by in what feels like the span of a minute. And Clout's face is just like right in front of yours.
There's just an immediate, ah!
What the fuck?
Hi, you are close, sir.
You are smoking.
Thank you.
No,
And-
literally.
Vice, that reminds you, and you look down and your pipe is just like waterlogged at this point.
Tip the contents out, bang it against the chair. So what brings you out here, good sir?
What the fuck was in that pipe?
I don't know. I have to talk to my dealer later.
Just go to bed.
Vice will nod his head.
Just gonna leave, like, scratching the back of his head, like... Fucking hell. We're in the middle of a strange land, and he's over here getting high.
Vice will pat the chair. Move on. Maybe jog up behind Clout.
Yeah.
So you're making promises, huh?
That wasn't your conversation to listen to.
Well, you were having it in a public space. It was kind of hard not to listen in.
You could have made an effort.
Next time I shall sit up, look at you, cover my ears, and then lay back down.
Maybe next time I push you off the cliff. How about that?
I'd like to see you try.
Clouded is taking every inch, every single molecule of being to not just lift and duck. There's no respawn though. He won't come back. This isn't a play.
I'm gonna do a good boy roll. Oh, I forgot that I've got hardware acceleration on. Or off, whichever one makes the dice chug real hard.
Aw.
It's like watching it's like watching Clout's single brain cell. A 3!
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna shove him.
Yeah. Make a push attack.
13, you need to oppose with acrobatics or athletics.
Sure. 25.
Clout goes to shove you after you say you'd like to see him try.
Vice is gonna spin behind Clout and just like grab the back of Clout's shirt so he doesn't stumble off the edge.
Just like windmilling his arms, like completely, like 100% would have gone off the edge if he wasn't holding on to his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Dangerous, jackass.
Point made.
Pull him back. If my teasing is rubbing you the wrong way, I apologize. It's just nice to see you talking to other people, that's all.
I doubt you know how to rub anyone the wrong way.
Well, there was this half-orc. Alright now, I feel a little weird that you're making those kind of jokes.
You don't... You don't have a monopoly on dirty jokes.
I beg to differ, good sir. I am the bad, dirty joke dispenser, dealer. You know what? I should really talk to my dealer about what was in that pipe.
Listen, just because I have anger issues doesn't mean I don't have a sense of humor.
You realize you have anger issues. You're growing. Oh my God.
Trust me, I am the one most aware of my anger issues. They're saying this as they're walking back into the building.
Okay.
Before they get in. I know your sister, by the way.
It's gonna stiffen a little.
Would you like to know how she's doing?
Is she alright?
Yeah. Last time I checked, she was paying off her student loans, working off, what was it? Apothecary down on the trade district.
Good. I think she'd be good at that.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Okay. Sounds good. So, anything else anybody wants to do for the evening? Balhadur, you said that you were doing some training.
Ritual.
Yes, ritual.
This would have been the first long rest outside of a private room. So in the apiary, Balhadur pulls out of their backpack what looks like a key ring, but instead connected to this loop of metal are small shards of what look like eggshells. They have a variety of colors, and Balhadur thumbs through each one. Yeah, Buffer, Bed Snapper, Radiant, Blank Biter, Chomper, Door Scraper, and just starts listing off the names of their grandchildren. And when they finally get to the end, Chair Scratcher, Snuggler, oh Chud, good night. And puts the keyring next to where they will lay their head.
No, so cute. Balhadur is the best of us. That's canon now.
Someone has to be.
Okay, so the morning will come for us all eventually. And when it does, Lowry, can you make me a con save, please?
19.
19. Lowry, this is beginner's luck. You remember that, like, things got a little... You remember being really happy. You remember getting back like a couple like nice back rub, and then there was food. It was great. Like there's like that little bit that's like not fully within the memory, which is fine. But yeah, you wake up feeling great. You had a lot of water. You had a lot of good food. And the rest of the party, you were able to wake up as well. Gleam is like, has her small pack ready, and is more than happy to begin the long trip to where the Korreds are. She describes this place as Lockbury Hedge. Or Henge, not Hedge.
How long is it going to be until we get there?
She says that it is roughly about 3 miles away. So with the landscape and kind of with everything else that you have to traverse in order to get there, it's going to be about a half day's journey, even though it is only 3 miles.
Would it help if, as a ranger, the party is not affected by difficult terrain?
Yes, it would only take a couple hours.
All right. Rangers!
Yeah, it would take 2 hours instead of 4.
Oh, jeez, all right.
Yeah, I mean, difficult terrain cuts your movement by half, so kind of helps. Divide overall travel time by half. And, like, as you're going, Gleam is, like, very, like, wow, this is a lot easier now that I'm traveling with a group of people. You'd think that more numbers would hinder you. It hindered her with Amador, but not this time around. And so you end up kind of cresting over this hill, and looking down, you see that atop a boulder-strewn plateau stands a circle of 8 megaliths. In the center of this henge, a small checkered game board with some stones, with some stone playing pieces rest on the ground near the dying embers of a campfire. And Gleam mentions that this is where she has been informed that the Korreds are, but every time that she's come to visit, she's never been able to see any.
If Vice were to wander over to the game board and look down, what are they playing? Checkers, chess, dragon chess?
Checkered game board.
Let me check. Do. Where it says game board below, and then it's not below, it's on the next page.
Thanks.
You see that there are 2 sets of playing pieces, one made of shale and the other of chalk, and they are sculpted in the form of tiny cloven-haired creatures with wild beards and hair. But you can make me an intelligence insight check.
Oh, intelligence insight.
Yes, use insight, but with your intelligence modifier instead
Interesting.
of your
That's
wisdom.
May I assist Vice in their vibe check?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
I'll provide you with the help action.
Kiss. Thank you.
Natural 20 for a 20.
Okay. Vice, you've played a lot of games in your life. Not just with people, not just with dragons, not just with folks that you meet on the street, not just with yourself. You've played, like, if there is somebody willing to sit down and teach you a rule set, you have played that game before.
You fucking nerd.
Fucking nerd!
He met someone in a bar and taught him about Gwent, and that was all Vice did for like.
I mean, back when you
few
were on
months.
Ravnica, they had a game that I believe was called Illusion the Congregation, which was a very difficult card game to learn, but you were pretty good at it. You know, they had
Yeah,
Friday Night
played-
Illusions that you would go to on 10th Street every week. It was pretty great. You don't know what a Friday is. That's just what they called it.
Fucking hated because he ran Blue Mill.
It was a whole thing. Like, the Orzhov were always, you felt cheating. But looking
There's
at
a
it,
Centaur who would play it, and she was always a sore loser.
always. But you do get the understanding that Slate can beat Chalk in a single move.
But what
Vice
is the
reaches-
game?
It is just some. You're guessing it's like a chess style game. It's just described as having unique figures of Korreds made of different varieties on either side.
He's just gonna quip. Well, it looks like Chalk is in a very desperate situation. I don't think there's a way to get out of it.
Do you want to leave a note for whoever is playing this? Would it be rude to make the move for them?
It'd be very rude to make the move for them. This is a private game. I don't think they'd like backseaters. But if anyone is listening, I'd be wary about a particular move.
Okay. And then Clout and Lowry, while the two of them are investigating the game, what are you two doing?
I'd like to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Sounds good. So, with your Detect Magic, each of these pillars, shale, chalk, flint, granite, slate, basalt, obsidian, and marble, are all radiating with a magical glow, but not the entire megalith. It seems like each of these are radiating with that kind of magical essence only about 2 feet up, 2 to 3 feet up on each of the pillars. And while you're looking at that and kind of thinking about it, you also notice that the pillar for chalk and the pillar for slate have what look like sets of cloven hoof prints that go up to these large megaliths.
What is the school of magic that I'm seeing?
You are assuming that this would be a transmogrification spell.
Transmutation.
Transmutation, that one. Not the evil wizards. Well, their wizards aren't evil, but they can... Anyways, not the Harry Potter.
That one, and that one all have transmutation magic on them. About 2 feet up. Oh, and those two have hoof prints by them.
And Vice, you and Balhadur, as this is explained, you look down and see that the hoof prints are actually coming from the seats by where this game board was.
Oh, shit. I think these are doors.
Little domiciles where the creatures are playing chess with one another. Well, a board game with one another.
Good eye, Moon.
So they're living in the pieces?
Or in the monoliths.
Yes, I think they're inside these monoliths, yeah.
Transmutation magic, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Where exactly?
There, and there.
Like the whole thing, or?
No, just 2 feet up.
The first place that she points out there, I'm going to cast Dispel Magic.
Rude.
So the first one that you point to is going to be, I believe, slate. Let me just check on that real quick. Yep, shale is the first one. And shale... So as you go and cast this spell, there is a, when you say Balhadur rude, there is a oof! And you see like a little Korred, one of these creatures that in their more jolly dancing form look like
little gremlins!
these little dudes.
Oh my
You
God.
see that one of them is like shunted out of the stone. And they like land face first on the ground. And the chalk one, you can see that there is like a chalky white Korred that like hops out of their stone. And they are up in arms about this as the kale or the Korred inside of the shale ends up
Hopeless.
kind of coming out and stands up and just, what do you think you're doing over there?
What do you think you're doing,
That's
Clout?
rather rude.
Ah,
Right.
jeez, sorry, I didn't realize that Sorry.
What do you mean you didn't realize it's inside of the stone, you nincompoop, and then all of a sudden you play your little banjo and shut me out of there?
You do this at every house you go to.
Fucking jerk, and and he didn't even finish the game. A game which I'm going to win, by the way. And the one covered in chalk was like, well, you're not going to win the game if we don't ever get to finish the game. Oh, shut your up! I win. That's what I do. Now, what brings you all here? The name's Argantel, Queen Argantel, mind you, and this is my cousin, Jugu.
I apologize for intruding, Your Majesty.
You should have finished the game, that way we'd have come back, I could have won.
I
prefer to
Believe
get
it or
consent
not-
before I play with other people's shit and
Yep.
damage their houses.
My
believe it or
house
not, I
isn't
thought this was
damaged.
the less rude thing to do.
My house isn't damaged, I could do it again if I wanted.
Oh, good. I'm
I was
glad we
melding
didn't
into
put you
the
out of all.
stone.
You were what now?
I was melding into it. Haven't you
Neat.
ever just like gone up to like a bush or a rock and then thought rock thoughts and then like you were able to go inside of it? It was melding.
I think I did that with a hay bale once.
Gross.
Then you were thinking, hey, thoughts.
That's fantastic. Never heard of such magic.
And she then says, before we even get into the thick of it, I got 2 words for you. Are you allied with Endolin?
That's more than 2.
Faith,
And she like gives
worthy.
you a stern look, and Jugu's just like, you should not correct her on word count. And Gleam pipes up, we were actually going to ask about assistance in dealing with Endolin. And then sort of like goes back around the group. And the
Horrid
Korred
effort.
narrows their eyes.
If it makes any of a difference, we are responsible for taking out 2 of the 3 of the Hourglass Coven.
2 out of 3, you say?
Endolin's the last one on our list.
You got any proof to this pudding you presented me today?
Oh, I have this. And it's Lowry gestures to the floating lily pad that she that I keep forgetting exists.
I'll take that as a yes.
Clout will take out a handkerchief and smear the makeup off his face.
Servant of Queen Zybilna?
Just sort of offer up his cheek.
Fascinating.
I ain't seen a mark like that in a long time.
We're
Okay.
looking to bring her back.
You helped me win the game. You brought the spoils of war from the others. And you got the Queen's mark on you. At this point, I'd like you fine.
Vice, you said you knew how to make the right move.
Oh, yeah.
She points. Do it. One more. One play for me. Show me you can win.
You got this.
Whose turn? Yours or...
It was mine. Make the play.
Vice lifts up the piece, puts it somewhere.
Pressure's
Checkmate.
on. Don't fuck up.
And like her
they shipped in
and
before.
her and his name is Jagu. Her and Jagu are looking, and as soon as you do, Vice, she just in your fucking face, Jagu! I told you Slate wins every time! And he just, oh, motherfuck! And like flips the table over, and she's just like full on laughing. And at this, you can hear like the sounds like as the other like Korreds are coming out, having melded with their stone, and each one like has a different kind of coloration to them. With basalt being more of like a kind of like that bluish, gray stone, granite being a lighter gray, obsidian is jet black, and then mallow of marble actually has what we would consider to be like a vitiligo. Like it looks like they have like a marbling of pigment on them as well, as they all sort of come out, and they are all just like laughing and pointing at Jagu, who is in the process of like crushing the game board underneath one of his cloven hooves. And that Argantel, the queen, ends up bowing, or not bowing necessarily, but she says, well, if it's help that you want, it's help you can get. You help me win my game, you kill the other hags, and I like you fine. So, what all do you know about Endolin?
Exposition.
Eclipses, actors, hostages.
Something about a fool's scepter.
Holding onto a star child.
I'm sorry, what?
Star child. The twin of the moon.
All right, well, there are certain things that maybe we can help at least alleviate on this. Some information that you might not have. We no longer hold large gatherings here. It's not something that we do very often anymore. Mostly because Bitter End's meddling, and she has instructed her... Well, I instructed to my fellows to sort of like hide out in the rucks. So that way, in case she comes with her iron shears again, she can't be snipping our hairs, trying to take what's ours from us to utilize in her mechanical things.
She comes here.
She tries. She sends folks here. Whether it's one of those whether it's one of them shadows, or I have heard that some of the Brigandnoks have actually participated in stealing away some of my kin. That's why we gotta scare them right in the mind.
The Brigand what?
Brigandnok. It's like my mortal enemy.
I understand that.
And Balhadur, you can make a history check if you like.
I'm from the Feywild.
All right, history. 15.
A 15, that would be enough to know what a Bragganok is. A Bragganok is a tiny fey creature. They are no larger than the size of a mouse. They have a sort of elongated, whiskery snout that ends in a like a little bat nose. And what's interesting about the Brigandnoks is that even though they are just like hunched little guys, their soul is actually on the outside of their body. That is always no more than 30 feet away from them. That they actually use as an additional source of light. And Balhadur, you would know that the Brigandnoks look like this.
Why is everything so fucking cute in this book?
And again, no larger than the size of a mouse.
Briggannock.
Okay, cool.
Brigandnoks.
Oh, I understand what those things are.
It's my mortal enemy! And as she says this, the other Korreds begin to like put their hands over their head and start grinding their teeth, and one actually like grabs a handful of rock and just like puts it into their mouth and just like to try and drown out a noise. And as they stamp their hooves and grind their teeth, you can hear the faint sound of pickaxes tapping on stone that is carried to them on the wind. Queen Argantel runs to a boulder, picks it up, and hurls it 100 feet in the direction that the noise of the noise. And while she screams, "Death to the Brigandnoks!" and a peal of thunder accompanies her as she just throws this boulder. I hate them so much.
I feel like I understand these people more than anybody we've ever met.
They do seem like the kind of folk you'd get along with.
Well,
Look, the Brigandnoks are helping the bitter end make all of her wicked contraptions, and they also hide and guard the schematic diagrams for new contraptions in their mine.
Where is this mine?
This mine, it's about... it's been getting ever closer as they've continued to work on, but it's about a half-mile that way. Right now, we have some stone statues of our kind outside making, like, mean-mugging faces at them. Just so that way, like, they look out and they're like, oh, that's fucking scary. And they're right to think so, because then they go right back into the mine.
So, what you're saying is we don't necessarily need to eliminate them. We could scare the ever-living shit out of them.
Yes! If you can just, like, scare them. Killing them's pretty good, but I understand some people have hang-ups about murder and killing in the Feywild.
Oh, no, I
but
do
like,
not have said hang-ups.
Well,
If we're
good,
going to
then
draw
kill 'em all!
alliances, then an enemy of yours is an enemy of ours.
Yeah, just get rid of him. I don't care how you do it. It's just like, off you go, because every time that they mine, and they're close to us, we can hear it. It's like, have you ever had a board made entirely of chalk that you just drag your fingers down?
Oh, yep.
It's like that, but every time it's their little picks. Just crack, 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 right into my fucking ear.
Alright. So, who wants to be on pest control?
It sounds like a simple enough task.
I can be pretty intimidating.
Also, simple task, possibly. One of our mates, a Balhadur, was working. Infiltrated the mine. He overheard several of those brigand knocks. Apparently they have a secret passage into Motherhorn. If you want to kill Endelin, get rid of the brigand knocks, the tunnel's all yours.
I'm already loving this alliance we are drawing here.
I like to think so. And if you like to consider it an alliance, here. Spits in their palm, extends out. Shake on it. And as the two of them clasp to form this makeshift alliance with the Fae of Stone, that is where we're going to call it for tonight's session. So, with that in mind, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us for this wonderful game of Dungeons and or Dragons, because I couldn't do it without all of you coming by, and of course, I couldn't do it without all of these players. Speaking of which, RJ, where can I find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. You can catch me at RJ282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things about life and sometimes stream with my friends. Of course, you can catch me here Mondays and Sundays. Mondays for our 5e campaign, where I play Calum, a Shatterkai wizard. Sundays for Witchlight, of course. You know I'm Vice, the Tiefling Rogue Warlock. Coming up I think, next week, we are resuming Nexus Adventures over at the TheHypeGoblin's channel, 10 a.m. EST on Sundays. Other than that, Thursdays over at GGK, where we do Elegant Magics. We swap from Urban Shadows to Monster of the Week, so catch me there. I have yet to select my playbook, but it's going to be fun. Saturdays, we are going weekly now for our Parslings game, which is a deck building game where we use words instead of dice. Also on GGK, I'm playing a person named Yu. They were literally raised by wolves. Other than that, I will be DMing something in the new feature on a very, very lovely channel. So there'll be some announcements going out about that in the future. Check out my Twitter for that. TheNakeHunter.com.
Oh, that means it's me next. Hey everybody, I am Sarah. I have been playing Lowry Moon. You can find me all over the internet as TheHypeGoblin, doing a whole bunch of TTRPG related stuff. Both related to this channel, my own, and my YouTube channel. If you'd like to, go check out some of that content. That's a fun time. Also, recently, I have taken over the role of Desdemona on Tubular Teens with Titans, a audio drama that is kind of a take on the Power Rangers type motif. So go check it out. The episodes are short, they're a lot of fun, and starting with episode 7, you will hear me as Desdemona, and you will also hear me in the upcoming season 2. TheNakeHunter.com.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Mediaflare. I am a voice actor and streamer. You can find me here on Sundays, of course, and also on Thursdays, where some of us play a Call of Cthulhu game based in the SCP universe. You can also hear me as the journalist Russell Gainsley on Zark Media's Star Citizen News Network. And there is the possibility that I will be having something new coming up soon. Stay tuned, DanaeKeener.com.
I'm DanaeKeener.com. Hi, everybody. I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. There goes Bram. You can also find me at Danae Keener on Twitter. There's a pinned tweet there. You can see my schedule and all the things that I'm up to. So go and check it out, DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday, Thursday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, at least for now, while I get my schedule fixed. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures. But for now, we are going to be heading out. So I'd like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!